Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Pettit,
Present.
Hightower,
Here.
Jackson, Mason,
Present.
Mora, here, Walker, here, Espinosa, here.
Can I read the motion to? Yes, I'm gonna pull that up. We have a lot of agenda tonight, so everybody we're gonna rotate things to everybody here on time, okay? Okay, we you got motion then? Okay. All right, so roll call, adoption of Canvas, certification of results. So. Mrs. Flores? I'm trying to find the document with 13 pages that has the election results. Sorry for the delay. I got it. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Okay, thank you. I got this one. So we ask that the Board of Education adopt and ratify the canvass of the school board election already performed by the Cook County Clerk on April 1st, 2025, and declare that Rose Mason, Dennis Jackson, and Cosette Espinoza have each been elected to serve a 4-year term. So at this point, we need to form a secretary for the elected interim chairman. And interim chairperson. Get motion. Get it points on one for interim chairman. Sorry, points for interim chairman.
Interim chairman.
Interim chairman. You can't do it. No, can't.
Okay. Mrs. Moore.
Okay.
All right, motion. Mrs. Moore.
All right. So you got everything?
Yes.
She has
This is what I did, right? Yes, I have it.
And interim chairperson, secretary. We're gonna do that? Can't do it. Then vote it in.
Oh.
Okay? So you?
Okay.
All right.
So I read the oath.
No, this more.
Okay.
So we have to approve the canvas certification. All right. I get a motion? Okay. Mr. Chavez, Ms. Espinosa. So you got to be, it's mortgage 7. Okay.
For all of citizens.
We're changing our board, okay? That's what it looks like. Now we'll get it. Roll call, please.
Pettit,
I.
Hightower,
Aye.
Mora, aye. Jackson,
As well.
Walker, aye.
All right, so then an election of an interim chairperson.
We got it. We'll be more gonna be the interim person. You're gonna be the secretary. And okay.
Secretary pro tempore, we have that. All right, oath of office administered by the secretary pro tem to the new board members.
Should I read everybody's names?
We got all stand up. Raise your hand.
Because as I read it, am I saying everybody's name into, like, not?
Okay, just all.
So we all read it together.
I'll read it.
Say our name and we'll read it together.
Just the name.
Okay, I,
Rose Mason,
Placenta Espinosa, do solemnly
solemnly
swear
swear
that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of member of the Board of Education of School District 86 in accordance with the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
in the
and the
laws
laws of the State of Illinois,
to the best of my
ability. I further swear that I
shall
respect the taxpayer interests by serving as a faithful protector of the school district's assets. I shall encourage and respect the free expression of opinion by my fellow board members and others who seek a hearing before the board, while respecting the privacy of students and employees. I shall recognize that a board member has no legal authority as an individual and that decisions can be made only by a majority vote at a public board meeting. I shall abide by majority decisions of the board while retaining the right to seek changes in such decisions through ethical and constructive channels. As a part of the Board of Education, I shall accept the responsibility for my role in the equitable and quality education of every student in School District 87. I shall foster with board extensive participation of community, formulate goals, define outputs, and set the course for School District 87. I shall assist in establishing a structure and an environment designed to ensure all students have the opportunity to attain their maximum potential through a sound organizational framework. I shall strive to ensure continuous assessment of student achievement and all conditions affecting the education of our children in compliance with state law, and I shall serve as an education advocate on behalf of students in our community schools to advance the vision for School District 87. I shall strive to work together with the district superintendent to lead School District 87 toward fulfilling the vision the board has created, fostering excellence for every student in the areas of academic skill, knowledge, citizenship, and personal development.
Thank you, Mrs. Mora. Congratulations. The next is appointment of a board member to fill position. We ask that the Board of Education appoint Sharice Walker to the seat on the Board of Education effective immediately.
The motion? Jason and Ms. Espinosa. Roll call, please.
Espinosa. Aye. Nixon.
Aye.
Mora. Aye. Jackson.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Mrs. Mora, you're very experienced at this now. Mrs. Walker, do you have a copy? All right, if you please stand and raise your right hand.
I, Sharice Walker, do solemnly swear
That I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of member of the Board of Education of School District 87 in accordance with the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and the laws of the State of Illinois to the best of my ability. I further swear that I shall respect taxpayer interests by serving as a faithful protector of the school district assets. I shall encourage and respect the free expression of opinion by my fellow board members and others who seek a hearing before the board, while respecting the privacy of students and employees. I shall recognize that a board member has no legal authority as an individual, and that decisions are made only by majority vote at a public board meeting. I shall abide by majority decisions of the board while retaining the right to seek changes in such decisions through ethical and constructive channels. As part of the Board of Education, I shall accept the responsibilities of my role in the equitable and quality education of every student in school district 87. I shall foster and coordinate extensive participation with the community, formulate goals, define outcomes, and set a course for the school district 87. I shall establish a structure and an environment designed to ensure all students have the opportunity to attain their maximum potential through a sound organizational framework. I shall strive to ensure a continuous assessment of student achievement in all conditions affecting the education of our children in compliance with the state law. And I shall serve as education's key advocate on behalf of students in our community schools to advance the vision of school district 87. I shall strive to work together with the district superintendent to lead school district 87 towards fulfilling the vision the board has created, fostering excellence for every student in the areas of academic skills, knowledge, citizenship, and personal development.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, we asked the Board of Education accept the proposed resolution as follows regarding the term of board officers. Be it resolved that School District 87 Board of Education establishes the term of office for president, vice president, and secretary at 1 year, with 1 year term to begin as of the reorganization meeting to be held annually for this purpose. And said meeting will occur no later than the regular April board meeting. Any vacancy during the term of either office shall be filled by election for the balance only of the said term. The resolution supersedes all other resolutions on this topic previously adopted by the board. So this needs to be signed by president and secretary once we get to that reorganization.
That's next.
So we have to pass the resolution.
I get a motion. Yeah, next motion.
I have to ask a motion. May I get a motion? Chavez and Jackson.
Roll call.
Espinosa.
Aye.
Walker. Aye. Mora.
Aye.
Mason.
Aye.
Jackson. Hightower.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Now, election of the president. So we need a nomination.
I nominate Double Hightower for president.
Second.
Third. Forward.
Do a roll call.
Roll call, please. Sorry, that's you, Ms. Nora.
Walker. Aye. Mora. Aye. Mason. Jackson. Chavez.
Aye.
Espinosa. Aye. Motion carried.
Thank you. Now we have to elect the vice president. I nominate Carlos Sherman.
A second.
Third. Roll call, please.
Hightower.
Aye.
Jackson. Mason.
Aye.
Mora.
Aye.
Walker. Aye. Espinosa. Aye. Motion carried.
Election of a secretary compensation. I have a motion on that. According to board policy 213.00, compensation of the secretary shall not exceed $500 per year and shall be fixed at least 180 days prior to the election of the secretary, as no change is permitted at this time. The salary is maintained at $40 per month or $480 per year. The motion is that we ask the board secretary compensation to remain the same as last year.
Oh,
You get a motion?
motion.
I got a motion.
Chavez.
Sherman.
Espinosa.
Roll call.
Roll call, please.
Chavez.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Mora.
Aye.
Walker. Espinosa. Motion carried.
We need a motion to elect a secretary.
You get a motion, next secretary. Nomination.
Nominate, Mason.
Okay.
I said. Third.
Okay. A roll call.
Espinosa.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Mora. Aye. Walker.
Aye.
Motion carried.
All right, we ask that the Board of Education approve all existing policies, rules, and regulations.
Your motion. Mr. Chavez and Mrs. Espinosa, roll call please.
Hightower,
Aye.
Jackson,
Aye.
Mora. Aye. Walker.
Aye.
Mason.
Aye.
Espinosa. Aye. Chavez.
Aye.
Motion carried.
We ask that the Board of Education approve that the regular board meetings be held on the fourth Monday of each month at 6:30 PM in the boardroom of the Administration Center.
Get a motion. Ms. Moore and Ms. Wall, roll call please.
Jackson.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Mason.
Aye.
Walker.
Aye.
Espinosa. Aye. Hightower.
Aye.
Mora. Aye. Motion carried.
We ask that the board approve the law firm of Petrarca, Gleason, Boyle, and Izzo LLC to continue to represent School District 87. And that auditor Baker Tilly US LLP continue to act as the auditor for School District 87.
Get a motion. Mr. Jackson and Ms. Espinosa, roll call please.
Mason.
Aye.
Chavez. Espinosa. Aye. Hightower.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Mora. Aye. Walker.
Aye.
Motion carried.
We ask that the board adopt a resolution for authorization of signatures as follows. Be it hereby resolved that the Board of Education by this act establishes the authorization of 2 impressed fund account signatures. Such authorized signature shall be that of either superintendent, assistant superintendent for finance and operations, board president, or board vice president. This resolution supersedes all other relative resolutions on this topic previously adopted by the board.
I get a motion. Ms. Espinosa and Ms. Walker, roll call please.
Espinosa. Aye. Walker.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Mason. Mora. Aye. Motion carried.
Okay, so we need a motion to leave the reorganization, adjourn the reorganization at
We not to appoint the positions.
oh, yeah, thank you. Yep, we have to we appoint yes, the committees. The committees.
We appoint now, we have to appoint all the new committees. I'm gonna make a proposal that we keep it as status quo. No one change.
What's that?
Oh, huh?
We do one.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Right, it's not-
All right, let me find it here. Sorry, we made an update and then it changed what I had access to, but I think I found it. Okay. Let's see. Mrs. Flores, do you have that one with you? I'm having trouble finding it.
Which one that?
It's all the positions.
We should have done the second page.
Oh, do you have it?
Right, yeah, second
Okay, here we go.
page.
All right.
Just
What
read them all.
what am I doing using technology?
I
couldn't
know,
resist.
I know.
All right. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. So we need, the board needs to appoint a chairperson and co-chair for in-district committees, education and finance. That was previously Mr. Chavez and Mr. Jackson.
We got motion. We're gonna do them all.
All right. So no change. All right. So I just have to read it then, and then we're no changes. Thank you. Facilities. Previously was Mr. Hightower and Mr. Chavez. Policy and legislation, previously, Mr. Chavez, Mr. Jackson. Health, safety, and transportation, previously, Mrs. Espinosa and Ms. Walker. Public relations, previously, Ms. Mora and Mr. Chavez. Parent-teacher advisory, previously, Ms. Espinosa and Ms. Mora. Food service advisory, previously, Mrs. Mason. Bilingual advisory, previously, Ms. Mora and Ms. Espinosa. And then appointing our delegate and alternate to out-of-district committees, PACE Board, Ms. Mason and Ms. Walker. IASB Board, previously Ms. Mason. And then we've already done the attorney and the auditor. And so we ask the approval of the Board of Education.
I got a motion for us to accept.
I, before you do. We changed that last year to me. I guess. Okay.
IASB Board, where it said previously Miss Mason, previously should be Miss Walker.
Right.
Got it.
Can I get a motion to accept all those appointments? Mr. Chavez and Mr. Johnson, roll call please.
Hightower.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Mason.
Aye.
Mora.
Aye.
Walker.
Aye.
Espinosa.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay. So now we can do a motion to adjourn the reorganization. meeting.
I get a motion to adjourn? Ms. Espinosa and Mr. Tavera, roll call please.
Mora.
Aye.
Mason.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Walker. Espinosa. Motion carried.
Okay, now we're going to the regular board meeting.
Okay, ready to go to regular vote meetings? Get a roll call please.
Hightower.
Here.
Jackson. Mason.
Present.
Mora.
Here.
Walker.
Here.
Espinosa.
Here.
Chavez.
Okay,
And Mr. Lightcap is here from Baker Tilly.
okay. Welcome.
Sorry it took so long, everybody.
Weather.
Thank you for having me here tonight. As you're only a couple months left in your fiscal year, we're here to talk about the audit planning for the fiscal year 25 audit. We will be out here to do our planning, our interim work, the end of May 29th and May 30th. And then our final field work, our final audit will be the weeks of August 29th. Or the week before and then August 29th. So those two, the end of August, consistent with prior year's timing. And we expect to present the audit in our normal cadence this year as well. The board will present results as we do. The audit senior Brooke and the audit senior manager Anna will be back this year to have an audit team once again, which I appreciate, of course, and I know the business office does as well. So it'll be good continuity. The audit team, the step numbers will change, which is good to ask a lot of the questions. So we get that different perspective on what they have to ask and how they go about doing their job as well. There will be one new accounting standard effective this year, which could potentially change the liability of the state of absences to accrued sick and vacation time. We don't expect it to be material at our school districts. We've done some kind of test samples in different districts. We don't expect that the way the liability, the way the standard is written, that it will impact the district, but we'll work with the business office to determine whether or not a change in financial numbers is warranted. So just and then we'll present more on that. The number of potential number would become results. A little bit refresher on what we do for the audit. The goal of an audit is to provide reasonable assurance that the financial statements are fully material statements, whether caused by error, fraud, or any other accidental misstatements. During our planning field work, the first couple of days of our audit, we'll look at the internal control of the district, over the key, there are the significant audit areas. We'll look at internal controls and we'll determine whether or not we need to adjust the nature, timing, and extent of the audit procedure. So what areas do we need to look at in more depth or at different times to ensure we're addressing all the potential risks that could be there in the financial audit. We'll look at interim financial statements, we'll read board minutes, we'll have discussions with management and a member of the board just to kind of get their perspective on the financial audit, financial statements, the operations of the district. When we come back at final field work at the middle of August, we'll execute that game plan and we will perform our tests and transactions, our detailed tests to gain our reasonable assurance financial statements are basically stated. We will also at that time audit the district's federal awards, so the spending that you get from federal awards, for example, programs, based on the risk analysis and take the test transactions, to make sure that spending is in compliance with the regulations. We work with management throughout this process, but obviously we work for the board. Should you have any questions or concerns, we'd be happy to have those discussions at any time. And Dr. Sullivan, or we can get you in touch with us. We can, of course, answer any questions now, but really throughout the year, we're here for address some of the questions. So, I guess with that, is there any questions report?
Yes. You're conducting an audit based on financials close to this week. Are you providing an opinion for the future?
We don't look forward. The timing between the end of the fiscal year and when we release our audit, we issue our audit, we do look at that time period to see if there are any subsequent events, anything that should be disclosed, but it's all actual events that have happened in that, most people said fiscal year.
But you're also auditing the federal, correct? And based on what's happening in federal dollars.
So this is spending through June 30th of rule regulations that were in effect.
Understood. But if your firm providing any opinion on risks, providing risks based on funding that is your firm looking at providing any opinion in that area?
It's still based on what's already occurred and what's already happened on a go forward basis. As things change, as new rules come out, we definitely provide information out there to what that may mean for our clients. We don't provide an opinion on that and how it relates to next fiscal year, so we're out doing fiscal year audit. So we're always looking
It's close.
We would provide information on how things could impact you in the future, but nothing has to be done to transactions.
So great question. Thank you.
Very good question. Any other questions or concerns?
Questions.
Thank you for your participation. I appreciate it.
Very
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Joe. So we don't have public participation, but tonight we do have a brief presentation that Dr. Myzanek is going to introduce our team here on restorative practices. As you know, we gave the board an opportunity to see our learning taking place in each of our 6 schools. And one of the things we've been working on is student readiness to learn and how we interact with each other. So Dr. Myzanek, would you mind doing an introduction? And Joe, could you help could we move the chair?
Sure.
Or thank you, Mr. Gachowski.
That's true.
And we have a special guest here, Madeline and her parents. I hope I got her right. What is it?
Crystal.
Matilda and her parents. Matilda, can you introduce yourself? And Matilda's mom, she reminded me she went to North Lake. Is that when I was there? Oh, my gosh. We said hi earlier. And you came back. Thank you. And Dad.
I'm Alex. Nice to meet everyone.
Well, you as well.
It was a wonderful experience, by the way. Nice to meet everyone.
Well,
Thank you for coming.
Dr. Myzanek?
Well, I mean, I'm excited to have an amazing group of people up here today to give you a little bit more of that inside look at the work that they're doing and improving to their students when it comes to restorative practices. Well, each of you want to introduce yourself, your role, which school you work in.
I'm Katie Miller, I am school social worker at Red.
I'm Nicole Jurek. I'm the school counselor at McArthur's.
I'm Katie Kalinovich, I am the school counselor over at Riley as well as the lead school counselor. I'm Hannah Hubble, I'm a fifth grade teacher at Riley Intermediate School.
You're only going to see her in a video tonight, so she was like, "Are you going to do autographs after this?" I would let the team take it away from here, and I'm excited to be able to experience the presentation they put together entirely on them.
On their own.
But I appreciate all the time that they put.
All right, so what we're gonna have you guys do today, is we're gonna do some circles with you all. So we're gonna have everybody stand up. And we are gonna make ourselves into groups. We should have. Okay, so one group of 5. 4 groups of 4.
So find
Find a group of 4, and then we're gonna have 1 group of 5.
You have a group right there. Can I join you over?
Yeah, come on, this way. Let's start forward.
Should be teaching us.
So whenever we get ourselves into circles for whatever it is, whether it is large classroom circles, small circles within a classroom or a meeting like this. The first thing we do is make sure we go over our circle agreements. So today our circle agreements are going to be respect the talking piece. So what we need you guys to do is in your circles, find a talking piece. So anything you guys have with you. A lot of times we do something else to get the kids, but for tonight, can you guys pick something? At MacArthur next year, we're having our advisories each make their own talking stick, and I'm really excited about it.
She is very excited about that.
Better than everything. So we're gonna respect the talking piece. When you have the talking piece, you're the one who gets to talk at that point. And you get to keep that and talk as long as you want to talk. And then once you pass it on, you say enough so that you feel heard, and then pass it on to the next person. Respect personal space, especially when we're here. Just make sure we're not on top of people. Understand that everyone will get a turn. Listen with your ears, heart, and mind. And then you always have the option to pass. So if you ever feel uncomfortable with what we're asking or what someone asks, go ahead and pass. As much or as little as you would like. All right, so to start our circle today, we're gonna have you look at the board, and all we want you guys to do, are you feeling positive? Pick the dog that matches your mood. So again, around your circle, pass your talking piece. When you have a talking piece, just give a number or a little reason why you're feeling the way you're feeling this evening. I'm done.
Straight out. That's my attention.
And then you have
Oh, okay.
Well, I just really.
always back.
So there's somebody.
Good job, Tim.
Email.
Typically, NSBA and the NSBA also All right, so people are finishing up. So this is a really great example of just an easy icebreaker to do with your classes or your meetings. Or some of our kids, I recently took over an advisory, the kids haven't been doing this. So we've been starting out with a lot of these, because it's very just surface level. So the kids are willing to answer these a little bit more than some of the deeper questions.
And we get most of these from a website called First 5, and it's amazing. And they have a prompt every day, and you can look back in their archives, and it's a great way to get them. And it's free.
So the next question we've got for you guys, we're gonna go a little bit deeper, so showing how we can move a little bit deeper and get to know each other better. So in your circle, we're gonna talk about what are you most proud of? And we'll take about 3 or 4 minutes to do this.
Well, being that on your report back, you know, like the history.
Alright, we you guys about 30 more seconds to wrap it up.
All right. Yeah, you can go ahead and go back to your seat, but we are not done.
These are a little taste of what we're doing in our advisories, in our groups, and our classrooms.
So, how did that make you feel? When you are willing to share how it felt to get out and talk with people about these things? Yeah.
It gave me invigorating and a sense of connection.
Absolutely. Anyone want to add to that?
I think the form of communication, I'm always concerned at the school level, I feel like as they get older, we're losing that form of communication with all this knowledge, so it's nice to get them up and talking to one another.
Absolutely.
Texting one another.
Yeah, face-to-face communication for sure. And we were talking about how wonderful it is for us to watch that happening too, because we were all just sitting and just kind of listening and doing our thing, and then you see everybody get up and their smiles and people are laughing, and it really does bring that connection. And it happens in our classrooms all the time. And it's really it's so amazing to see. So before we dive into the why of it, it all goes back to that we need to reach our hearts first and then our minds. Kids can't learn if they are not emotionally ready and they don't feel like they're being cared for and respected. And this is one of the things that Circles does in building that community. So the reason behind this work, and some of these things we've obviously already kind of touched on, but the big piece is just that relationship piece, whether it's between student and student, or if it's between teacher and scholar. So, just as a community as a whole, it engages all learners. So even those students, sometimes I will have some that will pass almost every time I go into a classroom. And that's okay. They're still listening, and you can tell that they're still invested in what their classmates are sharing, and they're still in that circle and they're part of that, even if they're not necessarily responding. It builds empathy. So one of the things when I go into do a lesson, we always run either a circle at the beginning or at the end. And one of the things that I encourage them is that kind of think with your heart as well. And listen with your heart. And if you are hearing that a classmate, checks in and says that they're feeling sad today, that might be a good connection piece, right? You can be like, oh, maybe I need to be kinder to, my classmate today, or maybe I need to step back and maybe not, approach them. Or maybe if I feel, that I'm able to do that, later at recess, I can say, hey, I noticed that you said you were kind of sad. You want to talk about that? Or, do you need help getting to talk to someone about that? So we kind of build on that empathy piece as well. And then obviously the sense of community that a lot of us kind of already recognized. So how does it look in District 87 right now? Obviously, we're still very much in the beginning stages, but in some ways I feel like it's something that we've invested a lot of time and we've been doing this for so long. We have classroom circles, so we do have some teachers who, like Ms. Pebble, run circle as often as possible. We have some teachers who are just kind of dabbling, where maybe they came to our PT at Institute Day, or just from what they've been learning through different in-service days that give it a try, sometimes at the spur of the moment, sometimes, a little bit more intentional. But they can be social, like we just did. Academic, so it's an easy way to, after you're teaching something, maybe you round up and you give them, some kind of math problem, and everybody just kind of gives the answer and how they got there. So it doesn't have to be tied to social emotional either, but they're still making that connections while working on academics. And then obviously the end goal of all of this is that we're restorative, so that they're comfortable when we're doing these, simple circles, or these little R circles that we call them, that when a problem or a situation does occur, we can circle up and talk about those types of things as well. Instead of pushing a child or a student outside of the classroom, they can be in the classroom and that conversation is happening, and they can be talking about how it made them feel and all of those sorts of things. So that's kind of the end goal of where, we want to get with a lot of this. We heavily connected to Panorama, which we know that all of our scholars study. And that sense of belonging piece, which was a piece that a lot of our scholars felt was lacking for them. So this is a way to kind of build on that. And then, as I said, like the behavior intervention piece and the consequences piece, we have had some really big intervention type of circle occur at one of our middle schools. And from what I hear, it was phenomenal and it really worked and it went really well. So that's really who we want to be. SEL teams use them in their lesson, their small groups. So some students are getting them depending on the day with their classroom teacher, and then when the counselor or social worker goes in there, they could be getting them in specials as well. So it's not just happening in one room and that's it with one group of people. It's intermixed throughout the day. And then we even do staff circles, very similar to what we did at the start of our time here with you. We've been doing them at Institute days. So
I mean, we could talk about this and talk about this. It's okay here. Yeah. So we can talk about this and talk about this from our perspective. I mean, I wish I could do this more often in our classroom because our students really love it and beg me to do circles. So I actually like to invite Matilda up to kind of talk, and you'll see her in the video too. But she is one of my students who participates frequently in circles and asks about doing them. And so I just wanted you guys to hear it from the scholars. So what do you want to tell them about circles? Anything?
When we're in circle time, we always express to our friends. And sometimes we can mess around and laugh. But when somebody has to talk, we should pay attention. Because like my fellow teachers here have said, you could go here, you could hear what they're saying. And if you're thinking from their perspective, like if you're yourself in their shoes, you oh, maybe they're going through a hard time, maybe we could talk about it.
And I mean. The way the classroom has felt from like the beginning to the end, right? We talk about that a lot, right? All right, are you gonna still want to say? Okay, all right, so we'll let you see the video then of including Matilda and some of my other students who wanted to make sure that you all heard a little bit about circle time and our classroom.
Well, I like having discussions and making music and stuff like that. I like making discussions like that.
The thing that I like about circle time the most is we can answer a lot of fun questions. And I just really like circle time because I get to sit next to my friends. And we can laugh and joke about like the jokes and like the things that is wasn't during when we do circle time. So really fun time.
I like circle time because I like hearing what other people feel and how's their day going, and I really appreciate that my teacher cares about us and um cares about our feelings and does this so we all can like talk with each other better. Something that I like about circle time is that we get to hear people's opinion, and if they're feeling what we're feeling, maybe we could talk about it, and you can get to know them at a time. I like how when we do circle time, I just listen actually first in the room, and I get to understand them, so I get to know my classmates, and thanks to my classmates, because I really don't see what to say sometimes. So it's nice and it's just nice to
And we always talk about stuff that we like need to tell someone but don't have the courage to.
Another thing I like about circle time is how we always get together in a circle, and the teacher will always be respectful, and so to be respectful and get a person talking and to talk with you. Well, the classroom environment has, ever since we started doing circle time, has been better because everyone understands each other, which is very nice. So good to make sure the teachers know what they're thinking. Maybe they need like a brain break or they need some time off of what they're doing.
Something that I also like classroom environment is whenever we do circle time, everybody's really happy. How it brings all of us together, where we could all understand what someone's going through.
They know that we're listening because we can know better how we can know like what are their thoughts and what do they do in their day and how do they feel.
It has improved our classroom on their moods. So if somebody's having a bad day and then we do circle time and they're having a good day.
Because I feel like some people are really caring and they might think, oh, she has a really day, or they haven't really opened up about it. Maybe we can have a conversation to help them feel better.
So do you want to say, like, I did not tell them any of these jokes. Like, I just said, this is what I'm gonna ask you, and I just want you to think for a second, and just everything vouch for me here. Just think for a second, what is it that you want to say, and let me know when you're ready, and I'll hit record. So, I mean, they truly love it. They truly do beg me to do them more often, and it's something that's my goal, is to continue trying to include more and more academic and social circles. We do something sort of like circles in math time too, where they all work together in these groups, these small groups to share their ideas about math. And so I think, you see the difference. I mean, I know they can vouch for coming into my classroom and the way my kids are, with
and with each other, they do a really good job, so I have to give it to them too, because they're great kids, and I'm so lucky to have them, so. So just to leave you with this thought of why circles are so important, that sense of community is so important. When I know your story and you know my story, we're less likely to hurt each other, because if we can walk in each other's shoes and, like she said, be able to understand each other and put into each other's perspectives, you have that sense of belonging and community to make the world a better place.
Any questions, comments, feedback?
Very good program. Thanks for presenting to us. Really enjoyed it. You special. Great of you. Yeah. What great things in your back. Keep it up. Any questions?
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you, thank you.
Nice
Appreciate
to meet everyone.
it. You're always welcome.
Thank you.
We ask that the board accept the written correspondence as presented.
I got a motion, Mr. Jackson, and Ms. Moore. Roll call, please.
Travis.
Aye.
Espinosa. Walker. Hightower.
Aye.
Jackson. Mason.
Aye.
Mora. Motion carried.
We ask that the board approve the minutes of the regular board meeting of March 24th, 2025, and the closed session minutes of February 24th, 2025, and the wellness and food allergy meeting minutes from April 8th, 2025, as presented.
I got a motion? Ms. Espinosa and Ms. Walker. Roll call, please.
Hightower.
Aye.
Mora. Jackson. Travis.
Aye.
Espinosa. Mason.
Aye.
Walker. Motion carried.
Okay, there's no old business from the superintendent.
You.
The suggested motion is that the Board of Education approve the accounts and claims payable as presented, and there are no questions this one.
I got a motion. Ms. Moore and Ms. Espinosa. Roll call, please.
Walker. Mason.
Aye.
Travis.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
Espinosa. Mora. Jackson. Motion carried.
Also, the building rental usage report is in your packet for your information. And there's no other business.
Out of sequence. Thank you.
Okay.
You're
No old business.
Oh, what business, okay. Ms. Travis,
No old business.
any other old business? No?
Well, we got a motion for the closed session. Ms. Moore and Ms. Walker. Roll call, please.
Jackson.
Aye.
Mora. Walker. Espinosa. Travis.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
Mason.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Black. Don't go too far.
John, okay. Let me back to order, please. Okay, board reports. Basic. Back to report. Ms. Schmidt.
Nothing.
Okay. Ms. Espinosa. So we got nothing. Okay, move right along, superintendent.
Okay, thank you. For a leave of absence, we ask that the board approve the licensed personnel leave request as presented for Carolyn Zielinski, Patricia Minikakis, Ashley O'Sherry, Charlotte Dubson, Jessica Guzman.
Get a motion. Ms. Moore and Mr. Jackson, roll call please.
Travis.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Mason.
Aye.
Mora. Aye. Walker. Aye. Espinosa. Aye. Motion carried.
We ask that the board employ the following teachers pending all important paperwork. Leslie Hernandez, first grade teacher, effective August 18th, 2025. Thank you, Mrs. Travis.
The motion, Mr. Jackson, Mrs. Walker, roll call please.
Hightower.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Mason. Aye. Mora. Walker. Aye. Espinosa. Aye. Motion carried.
We ask that the board approve the educational support staff leave of absence request as presented for Jory Moe and Mary Nicholas Newsom.
The motion, Ms. Moore and Ms. Espinosa, roll call please.
Espinosa. Aye. Walker. Aye. Mora. Aye. Mason. Aye. Jackson. Hightower. Aye. Chavez.
We ask that the board employ the following personnel pending all employment paperwork. Denise Thompson, lunchroom monitor, Riley, effective April 7th, 2020.
Get a motion, Ms. Walker and Mrs. Chavez, roll call please.
Chavez.
Aye.
Espinosa. Aye. Walker. Aye. Hightower.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Mora. Aye. Mason. Aye. Motion carried.
We ask that the board accept the resignation of the following personnel. Catherine Soriano, effective at the end of the 2024-2025 school year.
Motion, Ms. Moore and Ms. Espinosa, roll call please.
Hightower.
Aye.
Mason. Aye. Walker. Aye. Espinosa. Aye. Chavez.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Mora. Aye. Motion
As you know, we've been working for the past several months on our policy manual revision for Press Policy Plus, specifically from the team here, Ms. Dashik, Mrs. Zimmerman, Ms. Walker, Mrs. Espinosa, Mrs. Travis, and myself. We've had many meetings. Our attorney has reviewed and he's continuing to review, but we're at the point where. So at the suggested motion is that the Board of Education adopt a press policy manual customization pending final attorney.
Get a motion, Ms. Moore and Ms. Walker, roll call please.
Espinosa. Aye. Walker. Aye. Mora. Aye. Mason. Aye. Jackson.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
And then for the next two motions, we've been talking the past several months as well about boys and girls soccer and also approving the athletic director stipend position. And I've asked Mr. Wachowski and Dr. Modi to be here just as one bit of information. I'd like to thank both principals because they worked to do a survey in their schools about what the kids were most interested in. And boys and girls soccer came out as well as both. So Mr. Wachowski, I want to thank you for doing that, and also Dr. Modi. And I'd also like to thank Dr. Myzanik because through her leadership, was it last year, Carol, that you wrote that grant? Or was it 2 years ago? I can't even remember.
It's all in this year.
We wrote a grant called Healthy Communities, and that's going to pay for this. So we should return. This is going to be funded through the grant. So it's a lot of teamwork here. Kevin, did you want to say anything about these next steps in Dr. Moore? Why should the board approve these two positions, these two things?
I know that our scholars is my 13th year asking about how we can bring soccer to our school. I know we did that presentation earlier this evening about a sense of belonging. I think that this is going to add a sense of belonging like we have to feel belonging. I know our scholars, I haven't really fully told them, but I know they're going to be jumping for joy when this happens. I think we're going to bring our parents out in groves, and I think it's going to be a beautiful thing for our community. I love the fact that bowling is going to be a no-cut event, so anyone that wants to participate will be able to participate. So again, increasing the sense of belonging in our community.
I'm just excited. This is my 20-something year in district, and most of those years have been regarded as a teacher or a knowledge administrator. And giving more opportunities to students is what I think we need to do. There are plenty more sports to come down the road. We met several times to talk about what we think would be easiest to put on for the first couple of years. These are the two sports that you get the most kids participating in and the biggest interest. So every day the kids are outside and they come in and like, that soccer field is not being used. When we get gold, when we get mine, when we're gonna get a team,
So I was out on the sidewalk with some kids today and they asked me the same question. I said, well, I'm actually going to a board meeting tonight, but that might become a possibility in reality. So they were pretty excited. Unfortunately, some of them are 8th graders. They're like, why couldn't you done this last year? So we didn't have the field ready at that point. We're at that point where we make that recommendation and for future generations and soccer teams and a bowling team, I think that's a big thing. So we're excited.
And then we have in our negotiated agreement, a interscholastic coaching, so that will fit into, that would be a, two additional coaches at each school, one for the boys at North Lake MacArthur and one for the girls. And also, how will the stipended position of a teacher becoming an athletic director, how will that help?
I think, I know that, we are going to be adding on some more youth events, and I think that this is going to allow us to, bring in someone, one, gain some experience in a leadership position, and two, alleviate some of the long nights that the principals have. Currently, we have about, between the girls basketball and the boys basketball season, about 26 home games, which typically are finishing later and later because of busing challenges. So I think this will alleviate that. And then all the planning meetings that take into account. So I think this person is really going to help shore up some of the news that comes from the conference level to the building levels.
And I'm more excited about this building leadership of some of our staff in Type 75 that don't get a chance to use them. They've gone to school. Some of them have been actually reinforced through the school district. We've sent people off with those certificates. And I think getting more people with leadership opportunities will be a great opportunity for our school. They just, when you feel like when you're doing more, you feel like you belong. So that's what we're really excited about. So we've got some staff that are excited about taking on some of the extra responsibilities.
So the concept's on in the planning stage, right?
Yeah. Well, we, as a team, we kind of went out and got some budgets and we got ideas of what soccer goals we need and how much it would be to put together a soccer field. Bowling, we got some quotes from the bowling alley of what it would look like. I'm not sure exactly where we are with transportation of Irene. Can you speak on transportation? That was one of the biggest challenges with anything, is always transportation. But I think the team between Dan, Kara, myself, Sunil, Tasha, Patricia, Irene, and then I'm forgetting someone. I think in Dale, it was every one of us kind of took a different problem and tried to solve it. And I think we have a pretty good solution for what that could look like. But it'll be new. It'll be some bumps in the road, but I think the kids and the families will really enjoy more opportunity to come together and build a sense.
Good question. As well, and any of those teachers or coaches or anything that know if anyone would be willing to do a drive, he had teammates.
No, we didn't have that conversation yet. But, that's something we talked about. I know you and I had that conversation not too long ago. One of the schools actually usually showed up with those little mini buses.
Yeah, but he got the CDL drones.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. That I'm not sure about. I know my wife was a high school cheerleading coach. In her first year, it was, here you go, take these cheerleaders and drag them out wherever you go. I was a little nervous about that. Yeah, that's stuff that we could explore down the road too. We wanted to just get the programs up and running and look at what other options we could have to make it a little simpler. That's becoming the biggest challenge with the after school sports is buses are getting to our schools. And you could witness from basketball games and volleyball games you've been at. They should start at 4:30. They're starting closer to 5, and they're going to 7:30. Just stuff. A lot of the kids are running out or go to another event. They've got practice or somewhere else to be. Those events are getting later today. So if you do soccer outside, we out there at 7:30. It's what, 8:15 now. We won't be out there that late, but 7:30 the sun starts going down too. So make sure you go to that same time. We'll work through those challenges as we do. But I think we have the teams that want the kids to do this, and the teachers. We surveyed the teachers. We have plenty of adults that will want to coach these teams too. So,
We're going to have two fields I think the goal for now is to use MacArthur as the home field for both schools, but then we have an adequate facility in the back for the practice sessions. Typically, the seasons are 6 home games, so we would be able to work out where when MacArthur's an away game, we would have the whole
home game that they field here. How many teams are in the conference?
So there are a total of 13 schools in the conference. I believe 7 currently have a soccer team. We would be 8 and 9 adding to that. And same with bowling right now is only 4 other schools, so we 5 and 6 adding to the bowling. And then there's other options we look at, other parts we look at, but we typically would be highest interest with these 2 sports, and the easiest to pull off was the challenges would be these 2 sports first. Then we can tackle the ones that are a little bit.
Would you mind sharing with some of the other?
Yeah, so the rest of the sports in the conference are softball, co-ed softball. There's wrestling, there's cross country. Cross country was on the list. Challenge was finding a place to run the cross country meet. Could be a challenge. So it would be going up either to Grand Park or Eisenhower Park, and then you're competing with the football teams and what's going on at the high school with cross country that uses the spaces. So we felt soccer was more contained, easier to kind of manage, and bowling, and then the other, what's the other sport? Oh, wrestling. Wrestling was the last one that's a whole other world of sports. You gotta have people that know what they're doing. They're a wrestling coach. I have sons that wrestle, and not just anybody can be a wrestling coach, and it's a lot of time and a lot of commitment. It also is a big lift on the facilities, bro, to make sure the mats are clean and put the mats out and roll the mats up and storing the mats. That's a big program. So we held off on those, and we'll see in the future. And I think that was it, right? That's the last one.
And I think just to speak to it a little bit, we try to have a lot of conversation about intentionality over a multi-year plan. And I think some of these questions, it's like they all came up and we get all excited about it. And it's like, where does this fit in the trajectory of where be most appropriate? Like they said, which sports we start out with could be a potential option in the future. How do we build up to each of these things as we continue to get into this, especially if we're going to invite somebody into the stipend position for an athletic director. That's going to be another, member of the team who's taking on position more about leadership role and how we program up to capacity. So it's been exciting to take it and see the interest, but then also think about how this can continue to grow as we evolve in our programs and what we can do here.
And there'll be some overlap in the seasons. So while girls volleyball is going on, boys soccer is running. While girls basketball is going on, boys soccer is running. And when boys volleyball is going on, girls soccer is running. So we'll allow kids to be in multiple sports throughout the year. Bowling is the one that they want to make a choice on. Bowling runs, what do we say, like March, so like February to like end of April. That's one that you can't be in 2 sports at one time. So if it's someone who, and it's a different type of student that might choose bowling over some of the other sports too. And the cool thing about bowling was no matter how big our team is, let's say we're playing against Northlake, they have 12 kids and we've got 35 kids. Everyone still goes to the bowling alley. Our highest 12 scorers bowl their highest 12 scorers, but all our kids still get to bowl that day. They compete against each other. All the rest of the kids from our team are still bowling every practice and every game. They're just not competing against 12 people that do it. So every kid gets to be a part of every practice and every game, every match. I guess it's called. Never been in bowling before, so I guess it's called bowling matches. Irene, bowling matches. I've heard Irene is a tremendous bowler, so.
Well, I think you guys take a position on our support from the board. Just keep in mind now, we got a soccer coach in our presence. You have to be too.
We're always we'll be over to guest coach, right? Guest assistant coach, come on, teach us some skills.
I'll provide some conversation. No, I definitely appreciate myself, the efforts. I think this is a long time coming. Expanding our sports program, and then the boys, the kids doing this 3:30 in the afternoon as they're going.
Our goal is to keep the kids in school as long as we can be busy. Yeah. And unfortunately, that's one of our challenges. We have teams that are cut sports. 12 boys make the basketball team, 12 girls make the basketball team. And we're sending away 20 kids that are like, sorry, we don't have anything for you to do. This gives more kids an opportunity to be at school at a safe space versus walking the street.
And we expanded our circle, making everybody feel respectful. Thank you guys.
So when we get our first schedule out, we'll invite you guys out to the inaugural North Lake versus MacArthur bowling and soccer match. And it's kind of cool. So where I live in Middle Park, and there's two middle schools. And they have the high school host the crosstown rival game. So like at Willowbrook, the two schools play, and we get the prizes and let us use their field at night. One we play each other. We play at White one year and play at prizes one year. It's a pretty cool experience. That's what our town does. It's kind of neat to see the whole community come together for a game, and they always get some kind of fundraising action within. Principal gets pie in the face, all that stuff, all part of the losing principal gets pie in the face. We'll be ready for all the pie stuff in your life. It brings more people into it. That's something we're always looking. When does the season start? Same time basketball does, so roughly, I think like we hit school the first day, it's like, hey, welcome to middle school, tomorrow's tryouts. And our first game is usually like the first or second week of September. Yeah. And then the same thing, the last games for soccer will end for the girls, I believe. And no, for the girls is like, we have one start playoffs next week for volleyball. So it'll end next week, probably midday season. Then. We try to get it before the time change and after the time change. Then we get a game done.
Well, thank you both. Appreciate it. Mr. President, our suggested motions, we ask that the board adopt a resolution approving the athletic director positions as presented.
Get a motion. Ms. Walker and Mr. Chavez. Roll call, please.
Ellis.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Mason. Mora. Walker. Spinoza. Motion carried.
And we ask the board to adopt the approving of girls and boys soccer teams.
Get a motion. Ms. Espinosa and Ms. Moore. Roll call, please.
Walker. Jackson.
Aye.
Mason. Espinoza. Hightower.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Mora. Motion
We ask that the board adopt the approving of the co-ed bowling teams as presented.
Get a motion. Mrs. Jackson and Ms. Walker. Roll call, please.
Hightower.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Mason. Chavez. Spinoza. Mora. Walker. Motion
For fundraising, we ask that the board approve the Riley Intermediate Walkathon, Sunnyside Camp Duncan, and Northside PTO, that's Whittier Riley and North Lake, fundraisers as presented.
Good motion. Mr. Jackson and Ms. Moore. Roll call, please.
Jackson.
Aye.
Espinoza. Mora. Walker. Mason. Hightower.
Aye.
Chavez.
And very quickly for my oral report, could I please ask Mrs. Mason to share out what was your wonderful experience like at the National School Board Association and represented District 7?
The experience was wonderful. The information that I obtained in these 8 sessions that I went to, it was very encouraging to realize that we as a board, we are you should give yourselves a round of applause because some of the issues that came up when we had our Q&As, I was really thrown back by how different communities are and how they don't come together. You know, there's a lot of bickering, a lot of time management wasted, a lot of tension and people resigning or just up and packing their bags and just walking away, and everybody is just thrown back. Like, hey, we don't have that. I'm gonna have to tell our team that, you know, we're okay. So the takeaway though, policy and procedure. You know, everyone left, I'm pretty sure, realizing that everything is based on policy and procedure. No matter what you think, nothing is personal, always go back to this. The other thing that I took away was students have a voice. It's very important to listen to your students. So the young fifth grader here tonight, that was a beautiful thing to see. Maybe in the future, we should think about having student board members. So that was my take. But all in all, I will, and I would encourage all board members to experience. But it's a beautiful thing to see so many thousands of people together. And they all have one bond, one thing that connects them. That's education. And the importance of it. Thank you.
That's it. Move right along. There we go.
First thing I want to was it's time for our consolidated district plan. And as you know, every year we come together and the districts together, consolidated district plan, which is all of our federal grant applications kind of come under this consolidated plan. That's Title I. Our basic improving school programming, Title 1003A, which is school improvement, Title II, which is preparing, training, and recruiting high quality staff. Title III is immigrant student education program. Title III language instruction education program. Title IV student support, academic enrichment in our Individuals with Disabilities Act, which is IDEA Part B flow through and IDEA Part B, which is preschool. So all of those include a summary of our district's needs assessments, summary of how we've engaged our stakeholders in those activities, also consultation with our non-public schools, St. John Vianney, how we're going to support students' academics and social emotional needs, our bilingual service plan, and then our professional development plans. So this is kind of the plan that opens the gate so we can start applying for any of our grants as those grants become available to us. How I sort of approach this with our team is it's business as usual. So to answer your questions you got us earlier, that we're moving forward and that's in that direction so far is to plan as things were business as usual. So that's how we've approached things here. We continue to do that. So suggested motion is that Board of Education approve the consolidated district plan for 25 school year.
Motion. Ms. Jackson. Ms. Espinoza, roll call please.
Melton. Aye. Walker. Aye. Mora. Aye. Mason. Jackson. Aye. Howard.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Motion carried. And then for my oral report, I wanted to take places you have the results from our West 40 curriculum audit. So every 5 years, the West 40 Intermediate Service Center conducts an audit of professional development activities. So for any of our institute days, we provide professional development hours to our staff, and so we are required to submit any of that ISB documentation, and then they review that information and conduct an audit of all of the required documents that we're required to keep. And so I wanted to just give you the results of that. We did not have any findings. Everything went as expected. And so we had no action plans to do anything. So we got on there for our audits. That was very pleased with the outcome of that. So that is our department keeps all the departments. Thank you to all the team. And I just wanted to thank Board of Education for allowing me to attend the Visible Learning Institute. This summer, I'll be spending 5 days it's in Las Vegas, but I'm spending 5 days in the outcome of that Learning Institute. I will be certified to train all of our districts on the most impactful strategies to impact teaching and learning in our classrooms. So I'm really excited to have that opportunity. I just wanted to thank Board of Education for allowing me to get that opportunity to come back and bring that to our students.
I want to give everybody an update on the Innovative School Summit that I spoke about last month. With the school improvement grants, we have such a great opportunity to bring our school improvement teams to an Innovative Summit. I'm really pleased to report we have 31 of our staff members, student administration and teachers that are going to be going on this school improvement summit together this summer for about 4 or 5 days, which will help us bring all that information back to our school improvement plans and impact our learning markets as well. So I'm excited for the teams to go together and experience that we live learn together.
We want to thank you for telling your team this business. We discussed earlier in closed session that we are concerned with optimism going forward, especially grants, you know. So the fact that you announced tonight that business issue, thank you. Stay on top. Moving right along. That's good.
Summary budget, standard positions, student activity reports for the period ending March 31st, 2025 are provided for your information in your packet. Tonight, also we are presenting the tentative amended budget, which reflects the revisions due to receipt of new grants, claim reimbursements, changes in insurance fees, and reallocation of expenditures based on the actual funding. Cash, some of the key changes in your packet. Questions on those. And I also attached the brief pie chart of work expenditures by this one for 4% used for expenses, salary benefits, purchase services, or supplies. So we're going to continue to monitor the revenues and expenditures until the final budget, which would be the budget hearing is June 23rd, 2025. And so we have a suggested motion that the Board of Education approve the tentative amended budget for fiscal year 2025 as presented and establish June 23rd, 2025 as the date for the public hearing on the amended budget, and direct the Assistant Superintendent for Finance and Operations to publish the required notice of public hearing and ensure the tentative amended budget is also on display at the Administrative Center beginning May 1st, 2025. According to the requirements.
I get a motion. Ms. Espinosa and Ms. Small. Roll call, please.
Chavez.
Aye.
Espinosa. Aye. Walker. Aye. Hightower.
Aye.
Moran. Aye. Jackson.
Aye.
Mason. Aye. Motion
Next action item is regarding the approval of engagement letter for our fiscal year audit that was presented today by Joe Lightcap. Engagement letters are in your packets, and the suggested motion is the Board of Education accept the following engagement letters for fiscal year 2025 and May 20.
Motion. Mrs. Chavez and Ms. Walker. Roll call, please.
Hightower.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Mason. Aye. Chavez.
Aye.
Moran. Aye. Walker. Aye. Espinosa. Aye. Motion carried.
Next item is regarding the preschool for all playground ground cover. So we had a recommendation to change from the wood to artificial turf. And it would be the same ground cover that's used for the Sunnyside playground. Recommendations came from an audit that we had performed. The suggestion motion is that the Board of Education approve the replacement of the existing wood surfacing at preschool playground at Whittier and Jefferson with artificial turf as presented.
Ms. Moore and Ms. Walker. I have a question. Is that because of safety that we're increasing?
They're saying that it would be safer for us to have practice.
Ms. Walker and Ms. Walker. Roll call, please.
Espinosa. Aye. Walker. Aye. Moran. Aye. Mason. Aye. Jackson.
Aye.
Hightower. Chavez.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Next item is to renew the contract with our unemployment management company and it's an employee services for the next school year. They represented in any unemployment claim might come through. So the suggested motion is the Board of Education approve the renewal contract with NSN Employer Services as such.
Your motion? Mr. Wall and Ms. Walker. Roll call please.
Jackson.
Aye.
Mason. Spinoza. Aye. Cora. Aye. Walker. Aye. Chavez.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
Motion carried.
And final item is to request an authorization to continue to offer student accident insurance to the families of our students for the next fiscal year. As a service, recovers details are in your packet, along with the underwriter information and prices, same something we've used for several years. Suggested motion is the Board of Education authorize the Office of Finance and Operations to offer the student accident insurance program provided by D87 Redfield and Associates to District 87 families for the 25 school year. As presented.
Your motion? Mr. Jackson. Ms. Walker. Roll call please.
Chavez.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Mason. Aye. Cora. Aye. Walker. Aye. Spinoza. Aye. Motion carried.
Quickly for my own report, as I shared with you last month, the Franklin Township Treasurer's Office was approached by 3 school districts to join. Those 3 districts are LaGrange 105, LaGrange Highlands 106, and Pleasantdale 107. The trustees have agreed to allow them to join our Township Treasurer's Office. Please welcome.
And thank you for being on top of revenues and expenses.
Of course, I'm watching them closely to make sure they're coming in as they should.
We really appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. Ms. Trout, you're up.
Let me give you an update on everyone, going pretty well. For the upcoming school year, we have 12 candidates. Of those 12 candidates, 4 and agreed to work with us, so they going through the hiring process. About 8 of them are thinking about, joining our team. And that's for teachers, and for teacher assistants, we have 3 candidates in the pipeline. So this school year, the hiring season is going pretty well. We needed to go better, special education, but I did equal 1 special education candidate today. So that was a good thing, so gotta keep the ground, going with that, but it's a really great start. But we're excited about that. And then last but not least, I want to thank everybody for putting out your statement of economic interest. We are 99% complete in this doing, so we just have one out here, and it will be done. One out.
Yeah, Mike, no. Usually the last one.
Yeah, but I have full confidence. We'll be 100% probably by the end. Very proud. Maybe by the end of this. That's the end of my report. I'll keep you updated, but I believe in May it will be approved 5. That would be good.
You have a good work. Let's go ahead and start with you.
Hi. Evening. We just concluded our year with our adult ESL program. It was very successful to be able to hold it on both Whittier and Jefferson side. We had Mr. Ken Gardner as our site facilitator. He did an amazing job. Had wonderful staff from teachers to childcare providers. I think total enrolled for the whole year was about 170, and at the end of the day, we had about 100 that came regularly. There was even one scholar who came to every class except for one, and she walked every day. So it was very successful. I'm very grateful to everyone who participated and worked. I'm very proud of our adults, scholars. And so we're gonna do it again next year. And then our dual language one way, rolling out for kindergarten. We're we've got a lot of, the important things finalized. I think we just have to, decide on a little bit more, development that we're gonna offer and just finalize the materials. So we're well on our way with that as well. Access scores come out, tentatively, the preliminary scores come out next month. So I'm excited to see.
Appreciate it. Any questions? Okay. I know you've already spoken, anything else you want to do us? Matter of fact, your team did a very good job.
I know, they were fantastic.
And they introduced another word to the team here, circle.
Yeah.
Okay? So,
I got onto your circle. I would just say outside all the restorative practices work that's going on in the building, we're gearing up hardcore for summer school. It seems so far away, yet it's so close, and I'm so excited that we have Dr. Whitfield, who is instructional coach from MacArthur, and Ken Gardner, our PE teacher from Jefferson, as the administrators this year. So again, in alignment with that grow your own experience, offering those opportunities. It's been wonderful working side by side with the two of them, who now get some leadership in a little different way than we've had potentially before, at least here at Berkeley. We have enrollment opening up to our families May 9th through the 23rd, so it's going out soon. The exciting thing this year, every year I feel like I get to say this, is that more and more applicants for people in the years that I've been in the school than we've had the year before. So this year we had over 65 applicants to participate in summer school position with certified and support staff. The wonderful thing about that is so many applicants challenging, because we don't even have enough positions for that, and we've already continued to expand. But that also means that we offer more opportunities for students. So with that May 9th through 23rd, we're hoping to get 200 students per side district, and maybe even the wait list will be able to join us. We'll see what happens. But summer school is exciting, and then we just have all the fun and wonderful events that we have coming up. We have Olympiad for our 4th and 8th graders. I'll let MacArthur this week, and a big thank you to Mr. Pachowski for helping me plan that, making it a very meaningful day, and we're inviting families in to participate in the award ceremony this time. So we're excited for that. Social. Can't forget the ice cream. Then we have Camp Duncan coming up for Sunnyside and Riley over the next 2 weeks, which is favorite events of all time. So the best memories there with kids. I squeeze my way into it still every year just so I can see that experience. And then Go 8. Our 7th graders are going to a teams growth experience, which is team building, also for both the MacArthur and Berkeley. And that's happening within the next 3 weeks. And then, yes, well, both of you will be both going. And what's exciting about that is an experience provided to our students that is completely grant funded as well for that short grant that they're so provided a lot of the opportunities. So just a couple of things other than
Thank you.
You share that presentation?
Absolutely.
I really enjoyed it, that you can even use it with other teams, adult teams.
Yes, and I just will give a shout out to the building leaders have been taking this back and doing it with the adults consistently. And we really deeply believe that if we're expecting it from our children, we have to be modeling it first. And I applaud their choice to continue to this work first.
Jessica, anything to add with us? Appreciate you getting the sports up and running for us.
I can't believe it's days of so I had an opportunity today. This is one of those opportunities that sometimes schools take advantage of. We had a staff member today who wasn't able to make it in, and we had Illinois State assessment for science today. So I took on that session, and it's one of those things where they give you like 3 hours to do like 14 questions. Some kids take the full time, and some kids get done a little bit quicker. So the group that I had, we had about an hour left, and they're all done. So we went outside for a walk with me and like 9 and 8 graders. And just them reflecting on like how fast their careers went. We had to count of the 9, 8 of them were in kindergarten, either Sunnyside or Jefferson, so they were lifetime Berkeley students. Not someone who came in like in 5th grade or 4th grade. So we got the opportunity to talk to all of them about what that looked like in kindergarten all the way through 8th grade and how quickly it went. Just to hear them share stories was nice. You don't always get the time to sit down and talk with the kids. That's not school related or learning related. It was just, I had an hour with 9 kids. We walked around the building a couple times and we just talked. It was nice. And some of these were kids that I met when they were in kindergarten, 1st grade, being in Jefferson. So it was nice to kind of close out a year like that. We have to slow down sometimes and remember why we're here and see the kids. They're nervous about where they're going. We even had that conversation, where you're going to high school next year. Some of them like, I don't know, we might move. We might not move. I might be going to this school. And of the 9, there were 6 different schools being mentioned of where they were headed. So like, this is their last time together. And we forget that sometimes. And the kids sometimes act out because of that, because they're scared of where they're going. And we forget that all behavior is a form of communication. And they're just telling us that they're scared. They always come back and say, we miss this place so much. Even though when they're here, they're like, we want to get out of this place so much. But it's nice to sit down and just be able to talk to kids. That was my highlight of my day. But it's also scary that we have 24 days to get graduation ready and all those things that goes out the school year. It reminds you of it's that time. But we're never ready for it until we're ready for it. But it all goes off on each other.
Thanks for everything you guys are doing. We really appreciate it. You did a really job. Dr. Holy, you go right across because you're going to kind of right with you.
Well, we certainly want to extend an invite to you for our graduation on June 2nd at the Proviso West High School. North Lake Middle School started off. We started at 5:30, so I know students will be there. And then that'll be followed by Mr. G and MacArthur at 7:30. I know you asked Mrs. Travis earlier how the new recruitment is going, and so I just wanted to share with you that we interviewed a young man who graduated your last year at North Lake Middle School. Alan Martinez, remembered you, and he applied, he interviewed really well, and we're trying to bring him on board as a social studies teacher. We're just waiting for his certification to come through. He said that he went to trade school to be a plumber. And he said something was just lacking inside, and he wasn't content being a plumber. He went back to school to become a teacher. And I said, why did you apply to North Lake Middle School? And something beautifully said, like, I want to come back and help our community. And so I'm hoping really desperately that we can get him on board with trying the certification. And so it'd be amazing to have someone who went through our system come back and help our system produce scholars that are going to change the world.
Can I share with you? It was a delight talking to him on the phone. It was just, you can hear a smile through the phone, and then he emailed me because I gave him some advice on what he needed to do to make sure he had his middle school certification. Even when he emailed me, he said it was, you know, a delight talking to me. He's really looking forward to hopefully being a part of Berkeley 87 again. But that day that I spoke to him, it was really a full circle, because right before him, I had offered it to the young lady we hired tonight, Leslie Hernandez, who was a student at Jefferson. And she was my student, I was her principal. And so I offered her the position. She accepted it. Just so excited. And then I got on the phone and I called him, and it was just the best day ever. You know, just seeing and talking to our students as they become teachers, it is really a delight and a full circle. And I'm looking forward to even more. I'm enjoying it. So that's all. He's working on it. Yeah.
Well, team, you're doing some really good work. I'm sorry.
Can we go backwards? I want one more thing. So both MacArthur and North, they got an opportunity to go to something called Career Ignite Field Trip. I think Ms. Zimmerman and Dr. Mazang sent us an email. And what it was at the Technology Center DuPage, which is with COD. We took 50, I'm not sure how many colleges we took. We spent an afternoon at the Technology Center DuPage, where the kids got to see like dual enrollment and kind of see what some of those coursework in high school could be. It was amazing to see like the kids were, it was a hands-on kind of thing. I've got a great picture that I can share with the team as well. We had kids that were in full fires gear with an axe, like breaking doors down. We had students that had the mannequins learning how to braid hair and do makeup. There's a whole kitchen there where the kids got to go behind the scenes and see. There's a restaurant, like the cafeteria at the high school. It's actually a high school, right? There's a principal, there's an assistant principal, there's a dean, and they serve the food through the cafeteria at the restaurant. There's an auto shop, there's computer aided drafting, you name it. This place had so many opportunities. Kids came back like excited about going on that trip. So, Elizabeth? I think she might have. I think the time I don't remember one. It was like a week ago, but it feels like 7 years ago in middle school terms. But it was the kids came back very, very, very excited about opportunities other than just going to a 4-year university, like what they could do. We had a group of boys that were very much in cars. They have a auto section. They have a paint shop, and the kids were learning, like they were teaching them how to paint cars, and they were super excited because that was their goal to paint cars out of the garage. But this program helps you get licensed. So when you leave high school, you've got whatever certification you need. So you're not just painting cars on the side, but that's your profession, and you're licensed and valid and insured, so you can make a full living out of it versus just a side job on the weekends. So the kids were super excited. I don't know, I'm sure what they get the same experience. The kids came back, bouncing off the walls, excited to tell their families. So it was a really cool experience. I'm happy with that. Too. I hope we can do that every year.
Great. Good, good work. We'll shift over. Rich.
Ready, thank you. We talked a little bit about grants today. So recently we got approved for computer science equity grant. That was the grant that was written last year. Dr. Sullivan and I had to work on it a little bit in the last couple of weeks. But that will allow us to expand our STEM program. Beginning of this year, we purchased different robotics, like little Spiros, and they're called art buses, little cars that students use them to work on coding, programming. They're amazing tools to help with collaboration, team building, math, coding, and so forth. So this grant for about $25,000 will allow us to expand that program in our middle schools, which we're really excited about. Curriculum Council, we're working with a team of people led by Kelly and Kara on the curriculum team, and we're looking at all of our digital subscriptions, how we're using them, how much we're using them, and how they are helping our scholars on a day-to-day basis. So we've been sending out surveys to staff, as well as getting on the Zoom calls with different vendors to identify, do we still need the tools we're using, and or are there other tools to better meet our students? So that's a really exciting project, and we think will provide a lot of value to District 87. Enrollment is underway. We're really trying to make a focus on getting all of our current families who will be returning to complete the Skyward returning student online enrollment. I just checked on the numbers. Riley is in first place with returning student online enrollment, but MacArthur and North Lake are not far behind. So they are working on that. We're making a big push for that. And then also, as Dr. Mazanic said, summer school is starting. So there's a lot, it's a whole new school year that we have to set up, and there's enrollment, transportation, things like that. So working in the back end to help that program get off the ground in a successful way. And then the end of the school year, as Kevin and others said, so we're working on successfully collecting all of our technology at the end of the school year and preparing to acquire technology to start off the new school year, navigating tariff concerns and other things, but we're in pretty good shape.
Mr. Bird, are there new devices for the?
Say that one more time, sorry. Oh, thank you. Yeah, look at that. My last bullet point. Board member. So the computers you guys have, we probably gave those to you like 8 years ago or something like that. And they're 11-inch computers. So we have some 13-inch Mac computers that we prepared. We don't have to do it tonight. Dr. Sullivan's going to put something in the weekly memo. But the clip notes is reach out to me and we could schedule any time that's convenient for you guys to drop off that computer and I can give you the new one. Again, it's a little bit bigger, faster, better battery life and things like that. They are repurposed from previous use, but it's an upgrade from what you're using. So again, Dr. Sullivan will send out some information on that. And we'll get you set up.
Thank you.
Dr. Stratford, you know?
Well, just a couple updates, for the health department, we still have a vacancy for the floor nurse. But we've been very fortunate this year to work with one of our agencies to provide us sub nurses as needed. You know, they were talking about trips that come up and different events, so it's been nice to have that partnership to with these persons. And we did place the AEDs in every building now, so every first and second floor has an AED. And working with Nurse Lind on updating our cardiac arrest plan, guidance for the state of Illinois to have their emergency plans to have a cardiac arrest plan. For ways to train staff. We're working with her on putting that in place, so we're very happy that the AEDs are now in place throughout the buildings. For special education, we are currently, we have an action plan to address, we have a cyclical monitoring this year from ISB, and so they come back to us with some feedback and we create an action plan. So we're working on drafting that action plan, which is proper procedures in place for. And we're also nearing the completion of special education review, the analysis of our programs, so we can have a long-term strategic plan for special education. That's kind of coming to the end of that piece and having a nice report for you to looking into that in June. And I want to say thank you for the consideration for our preschool playgrounds. You know, as we have a blended program, we have children with different abilities, having a playground that's acceptable and has been used for all of our students, no matter what their needs are. It's really looking forward to. So thank you for approving that. We do have our annual school safety meeting on Friday with our law enforcement, our fire departments to come together and be enhancing our emergency operation plans. And talked about a long time ago, earlier this year, the digital EMS system that we have placed there. And our school did evacuation drills last couple Fridays ago, just to kind of practice again, get familiar with our locations. And our site assessments were conducted at Northlake and Riley. We will have that in your board report next month. Kind of a summary again, like we did for Jefferson and Whittier. You'll have a nice summary of what some of the findings were. Based on some information from sharing the information. Site assessment, what the next steps could be, and then following month will be for Sunnyside and good.
Not a lot, actually. Not a lot. Got a lot. We got sports teams gonna start up this fall. We got graduation coming up. Dr. You mentioned about dual language. Right, that's what you're doing?
Yeah. I don't know. So the dual language is, we're gonna be rolling it out over time. And so the dual language one-way program is, it's for scholars who are identified as multi-learners that meet specific criteria. And they're eligible for a full-time bilingual program. So with our dual language one-way program, we're going to have SLA, which is Spanish language arts, a dedicated time for English language arts, which is a big part of their day. And then they'll have math with ESL support. What that means is they're going to be getting taught math in Spanish, but then the ESL support is when they'll be learning some English terms as well as in Spanish. Teach addition, they'll give a term in English and Spanish. And then the rest of their day for all their specials will be done in English, science and social studies is embedded in Spanish portion of the day. So that is going to be rolled out for kindergarten for the 25-26 school year. That's going to be an 80-20. Then for the 26-27 school year, it'll be then kindergarten and first grade. Kindergarten will remain 80-20, first grade will be 70-30. And the following school year, which is 27-28.
Future you're talking about.
Right, this is future. It'll be rolled out to all kindergarten, first grade and second grade. Second grade will be 50. So we need a lot of work for our teachers to be able to execute their day. But I believe in them, great staff. So that's where we're at right now. This is plan A. And so as we go through, we'll be considering other options.
Thanks for the clarification. I would have noted it. I'm not very good at note taking, but I wrote it down. Thanks for the clarification. Let me say this to from my perspective, got a lot of concerns. And what we are similar here in this room, this team, we team. We can make it happen. Make it happen. All we're gonna be able to make it happen, but communicating. We might not have the answers, but let's go ahead and get the answers. We got a very good financial person over here, we'll make sure she overseeing our finances, make sure our expenses are being taken care of. And all the rest of us don't play our role, our part, make sure our kids get the best education. We got some good things going in this area. This is why Ms. Travis getting the opportunity to do hard. And keep going in the direction, we're gonna be one of those success stories. Okay? That's my speech. I want to thank everybody on this board for reorganizing tonight and did a very good job. Your organization, everybody took their responsibility very seriously. Thank you. And thank you for installing me into one more year for the president. I'll continue to do the best. Okay. That's my speech. All right. Any other new business? No. Can I get a motion to adjourn? All right, thank you. Roll call, please.
Evans.
Aye.
Howard.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Mason. Moore. Aye. Walker. Aye. Spinoza. Aye.
All right, thank you, everyone. Have a safe week. And please let Mrs. Flores know the work graduation. That's